South Asians tend to be skinny fat, meaning more centralized, more body fat stored on their abdomen. And it has health implications, and people have been talking about that recently. But honestly, just growing up, nobody cares like about like you're gonna have a heart attack in whatever 40 years. It's more that just with your shirt off, like why do I have extra
fat,
extra fat around the middle?
I mean, we always noticed that growing up, and I'm sure you did too. Where like I have
Everybody
white
did.
friends, and we all work out together.
Yeah.
And they're jacked, and I've got a gut. I was like, we work out, we do the same freaking exercises.
Eating the same food.
Yeah,
No, not eating
You
the
eat
same
worse
food.
than me.
Yeah.
I'll jump on your program because I like what you're saying, and I actually need a coach because I need a little bit of accountability.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, 6'2". I'm about 182 to 185 depending on the time of day, and my personal goal is to hit 200 pounds. I've always wanted to be something to do something. That's all I know. All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Unconventional Podcast. As usual, my name is Karnvir. This is RAHUL, CHAWLA, your co-host. And then today we got our guest star, South Asian Strong. Follow that hashtag at South Asian Strong.
Nice to be here.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Today we're going to be talking everything health and fitness. We're going to get everybody's bodies ready for the summer. I know Rahul's been on your program for a little bit of time, and you've lost about 20 pounds.
Yeah, a little bit more than that, actually. 25.
Yeah, and this is the interesting thing. We like bringing guests on that we've actually worked with before, somebody that has a credibility and something that we can actually stand behind. And Gurneet, you're one of those guys. I haven't been on your program yet, but I think at the end I'm going to challenge myself to do something with your program to get some abs because he's getting there, and I want to be there one day as well.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I was telling him that we should get you on. More the merrier.
Okay, your main handle, South Asian Strong. Why South Asian Strong?
Well, obviously I'm South Asian, and that's the people I focus on with my program and coaching because I have, I guess cultural insight there, and they also need the most help since South Asians kind of face unique problems when it comes to health and fitness, especially in the West. Just that's the focus market, I guess you could say.
How'd you get started in this business?
Well, I started working out as a teenager, like a lot of people. And then during university, I got a job at the gym. I spent all my time there anyways, kind of in my spare time. So I figured might as well work there. And then from there, it was kind of a natural progression to training people. And then from training people, I just kept doing that kind of as work, like on and off through school. And then after school, like I got a full-time job and everything, but didn't really enjoy it. And I realized I enjoyed training a lot more. Like didn't feel like work, so then I just went back into it.
And this is your full-time business now?
It's been like that for a while.
Yeah, you create content, you have your client base. Do you do a lot of one-on-ones or is it all online?
Yeah, so when I first started, it was just like I just made blog articles and I got like one-on-one clients from that. And then for a good year, I was busy enough that I didn't even write more articles. Didn't post on social media much. And did one-on-one for the first like two and a half, maybe 3 years, and then moved into what I'm doing now, which is just like automated coaching. Like it's just a program that you sign up for and everything is there for you.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about you and your program and your business. I guess like a lot of businesses are starting to go online, and yours is one of them, where it's just a click of a button away, and you have everything at your fingertips for a very kind of low cost, essentially, instead of doing one-on-ones. And now you're headed towards what? A few thousand people, a few hundred people? If you're okay to discuss, are we going in the projection of, because you're going after South Asians, right? And there's obviously a purpose and a reason before that. Is it something that you're focusing on India, or is it mostly in Canada and USA? What are we doing?
I think since I speak English in my content and the blog was written in English, it was mostly like people like me, Western-born confused desis, I guess, or whatever you call it.
ABCDs.
But yeah, American-born confused desi. But so naturally, you tend to attract what you are. But yeah, I get a lot of clients from India as well. So wherever the content reaches, whoever speaks English but is also desi and relates to it, which is, I think my main people that follow me now are from India. It used to be mostly US, UK. I guess especially the Punjabi diaspora there. But since the last few months, like tons of new Indian followers, and I think it's mostly and clients, and I think it's just because I started collaborating with some other coaches who have a lot of influence there. And yeah, now it's like 50-50. So half India, half diaspora.
So I actually have this thing where I'm always trying to figure out how to balance the Western culture with the Eastern culture, especially with food. And I love aloo parathe. I love paneer, desi ghee, right?
Bagels.
I love, and the Western bagels and the croissants. And we talk about calorie count and how to control all of that. Some of it has to do with satiation and some of it is actual nutritional value. So these programs, are you helping guys like me that are like 95% Indian diets with the desi ghee, the butter, the lassi, and dahi? Do you create stuff that can actually help me out?
Yeah, that's the main idea is to help Desis, Indians transform eating their traditional cultural foods and teaching them they don't have to go away from that. Because while I was, first getting started in fitness, the typical diet was like chicken, rice, broccoli type stuff.
Yeah.
And I spent way too many years of my life eating tuna and tilapia and bland brown rice and shit like that, if I can swear.
Yeah, you are.
But and I was just like, this is terrible. Like, who wants to stick this long term? You're just going to regress and go back to where you were. So the whole idea was to make it fit into the culture and not the other way around. Make your culture fit your fitness lifestyle. Should be the opposite. Like the fitness stuff should fit into your culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, all my meal plans, for example, are Desi inspired. We present like in a way that you can follow Western or Desi diet, but most of the suggested recipes are Desi recipes.
That's the best, man. Like, honestly speaking, the West demonizes the East Coast, like the East Side's type of food so much.
Yep.
Whether it's Asian or South Asian, anything from that part of the world, they're like, no, stay away from all of it. It's bad. And stick to the tilapia, stick to the tuna, stick to the chicken breast. I mean, you're on that.
I'm on the program, so I have a different insight for it. But before we go down this path, I want to talk to Gurneet because Gurneet's a good friend of mine, and we've been friends for a long time. And I've had a different perspective than you have because you've met him kind of more recently. I've known this guy for, 10 years plus?
Yeah, 11, 12 years.
So like...
No, more than that.
Yeah,
14.
It's been a very long time.
Yeah.
And so if I reflect, I can actually see how this was a natural path for Gurneet. We would have our analytical chem class. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
we would show up. It's a 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. class.
8 a.m., yeah.
I would bus from North Delta down to UBC. We'd show up to the same class, and this guy would be amped up. And and he was amped up because he had a pre-workout.
No, post-workout.
Post-workout.
Yeah.
So he had just done a workout at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
At that time, I think we were all just chasing university, get good grades, get into medicine or dental, whatever, traditional pathway. But now that if I was to look back, I'd be like, yeah, you should have been doing fitness the whole time.
Right in the beginning.
You should have been doing health, nutrition, and fitness in that genre the whole time. And it was like a natural passion for you. So I want you to talk a little bit about your journey. Talk about like why did fitness appeal to you? Why was health such a huge priority?
Yeah.
And if anything, I feel like over time it's become more of a priority for you. Like with your dad's health and those things have actually only amplified your love and passion for fitness.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
I think I got started like every, teenage boy gets started. They hope, you get muscles, you get girls, and you get some respect from your friends and all that kind of stuff. You feel you're better at athletics. So it was a combination of those three reasons. And then, I just like the way as I started doing it more, since the results are so tangible, like output equals input, you go to the gym, you do something, you get stronger, so you can like literally see it happening. You kind of get addicted to that, right? And it makes you feel good. You feel more confident when you look good, you feel good. So yeah, I started for, maybe superficial reasons. But then like the benefits are what kind of kept carrying me on. And yeah, in university, I guess you could say the reasons were the same, but it was kind of like at that point, it was, effortless. That's what I did. But yeah, fitness, it started with fitness, but then I started getting into the health side more, because like eventually it's not just about aesthetics or how you look. It's about just like, how you feel, but also like, just you want to live a long, healthy, happy life, right? So the health side started appealing to me. I started getting into like more like health trends, like, like fasting and stuff like that. Like when it was like very niche, it was just blogs online talking about it. I started doing all that. keto, all this stuff. Like this is like 15 years ago. And then again, you feel better. You see that it has a real effect on you. So you start getting more addicted to it. Oh, what else can I do to make my health better? Right. Started getting into organic food. I was going to the farmer's market while I was in university, right? This was like 14 years ago when I knew you first. I used to go to the farmer's market on the weekend. Like what other 20 something is waking up early on a Saturday to go to the farmer's market, right? Like I was only weirdo with a bunch of like other hippies.
Protein bars and milkshakes in the morning.
So yeah, I just got really addicted to the health side. And then I realized, you know, health is connected to everything, like society at large. So then health led me into kind of like all my other, it started with health and like my interests kind of blossomed from there and like fanned out. Whether it's like economics, politics, you know, all this kind of stuff, environmentalism. Yeah.
I remember walking into your dorm room at Walter Gage.
Yeah.
You had this closet. He has this a bookshelf or a closet or computer table, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was like a shelf.
And there's like 100 bazillion supplements. Do you remember?
Yeah. I had that for like a few years.
And so it's cool because I saw you go through that transformative phase of like buying every supplement to like quote unquote hack or get that 1% in physique benefit to now it's like your program, your diet, your lifestyle is like 0 supplements. Like I probably take more supplements than you.
Yeah. I don't take any. Yeah. Like regularly at least.
So I saw this huge transformation. So again, your passion for fitness then transformed into a passion for health and lifestyle. And that's what I really like about your program is it's like he never tells me don't enjoy good food. He's like, yeah, just, you know, be on the diet, have a plan to get to your goals. But if you got to go out, like enjoy dinner with your family and friends. So I think that's the part that, and he's a big foodie too. So if I go over to his house, he's like, we're eating liver and like the real liver king. But so I've just seen your journey. So I just have such a deep perspective of your journey, which I admire more than anything. I haven't talked to you about this. Sorry, I'm going on a little monologue here, but one of my motivations for making this podcast unconventional was I have friends that are very unconventional. So you're one of them. And then Frost, one of my other good homies, very unconventional, bucks the trend, goes his own direction. And so the motivation for this podcast for me comes from people like you that at a time where everyone's chasing degrees and going down this set pathway, you're like, you just decided you're going to go a different direction. And so in a roundabout way, what I'm saying is thank you because you provided the motivation for me to actually take the courage and leap into the podcast itself.
My pleasure.
So yeah, I just wanted to have a moment to do that. But back to the fitness thing. Talk about you started off kind of focused on superficial needs. Was there a moment in your life that made you change your focus to health? And what moment was that?
No, I think it was more of a gradual process because as I started to I realized that it's intimately connected, and the better your health is, naturally, the better your body composition will be. So if I, eat the healthiest foods, live a healthy lifestyle, the form will follow function. So I started realizing it's not just about focusing on the superficial stuff. It's more about focusing on like the holistic aspect of just always feeling good, always eating the best food, and all other stuff will kind of follow. If you eat good quality food, if you have a good lifestyle, you sleep well, like stress is managed, you naturally will look good, feel good, and all those things. So it was more gradual. It wasn't all at once. Yeah.
I want to go back to the hundreds of nutritional, I guess, pills that you guys, supplements that you were taking. I think that was a big thing for us as well when we were growing up.
Yeah, 100%.
We'd have a little bit of information, and the people behind the counter, they would tell us, this is going to help you with vascularity. It's going to get you more chiseled. So we'd essentially just take them, not having much information.
Yeah.
Where did you get your information to kind of kick that away and go nutritional through food versus taking supplements?
Yeah, I think it was just awareness, education. I started realizing that all these supplements, like those same boxes will be ticked if you just eat like a nutritionally complete whole foods diet that's varied. For example, like if you're taking a vitamin D supplement, salmon, wild salmon's a great source of vitamin D. And I used to eat that like twice a week. So I just started eating it twice a week. And I enjoy it, so it doesn't matter. Eggs are a good source of many nutrients. The best quality dairy, like food, like butter, ghee, like you said, milk. Like if you have grass-fed, good quality milk, it'll have a lot of it. Like CLA, I remember I used to take CLA supplement. It's supposed to be a fat burner, right? Conjugated linoleic acid. It's naturally present in grass-fed dairy. So nature has all the answers. You can supplement, but I believe if you just eat a proper, like traditional, ancestrally informed, meaning like what our ancestors ate, diet, it'll cover most of your bases, and then you can like kind of like shore it up with like a few supplements here and there, maybe zinc or something like that. But by and large, you should just focus on having a good diet, and it'll just solve all those problems. And also, like, you don't have to buy a bunch of supplements. It's less of a, like, you don't have to think about it. You're just eating food you enjoy. And then, you're ticking all the boxes like without any extra work.
And then how about for vegetarians? Like there's always vitamin D, iron, magnesium. These are like the most common deficiencies.
Again, if you're pure vegetarian, no eggs either, like just good quality dairy, you should focus on getting like the highest quality dairy products you can find, like local, grass-fed, heritage cow, or like buffalo milk or stuff like that. If you can get it here in the Lower Mainland, it's getting easier and easier, and everywhere really in the Western world, even in India, like people are buying proper, like traditionally prepared ghee and things like that. So just whatever ingredients you do have, just try to get those the best you can. And usually those are like the more calorie dense ingredients. Changing your vegetable to like a different one is not going to really make a difference. No. But the dairy you eat is like a big part of your caloric intake. So changing just that will have the biggest impact.
Man, it's so simple.
Yeah.
Better. Well, he makes it seem simple, right?
Yeah.
Like one of Gurneet's strong suits with because there's a lot of fitness coaches out there, but Gurneet does have a science background. So he's like, not only does he make it simple enough for people like us to digest, like I go into a program, it's like follow ABC, you get your body. Like it's really that simple. But behind the scenes, like he's looking at macronutrients, micronutrients like zinc, magnesium, like some of the detailed stuff, and even the different metabolic pathways in the body. Yeah. Which he's not going to tell you this because it's going to bore our viewers, but he's actually going into that detail. Like I see this guy's research and it's deep. Like he's looking at weather patterns in India. Like from one of your reels, I've seen this, and he's looking at the monsoon patterns in India and how that causes the skinny fat physique. So like he's got way more detail than he lets out, primarily because most people won't.
And all this just to help South Asians out, primarily.
South Asians.
My own people.
Yeah.
I can understand their problems and their issues the most, and I've been through that, so that's naturally who I want to kind of, help them shortcut the process.
I really like your focus on skinny fat. Do you want to talk about the skinny fat Indian physique a little bit?
Yeah, what do you want me to?
Yeah, like what is it? Because there's a lot of people that don't know what it is.
So basically, body fat distribution is known to vary by ethnicity. Right. Not too much in most ethnicities. Like you won't really notice it. But in South Asians, it's very apparent. South Asians tend to be skinny fat, meaning more centralized, more body fat stored on their abdomen. And it has health implications, and people have been talking about that recently. But honestly, just growing up, nobody cares about you're going to have a heart attack in 40 years. It's more that just with your shirt off, like, why do I have extra fat, extra fat around the middle?
I mean, we always noticed that growing up, and I'm sure you did too, where like I have white friends. And we all work out together. Yeah. And they're jacked. And I've got a gut. I was like, we work out, we do the same freaking exercises.
Eating the same food.
Yeah.
No, not eating the same food.
You eat worse than me.
Yeah.
You eat pizza.
Yeah.
I've starved myself.
I eat dal roti and they eat pizza, and for some reason they're skinnier, and
I never understood it. So that's the skinny fat, right? That like talk about like why that happens in South Asians. And then how your program and in general your experiences can adjust for that.
So the reason why it happens in most South Asians, not everyone, but like 99%, if I just want to like guess, is that a centralized body fat distribution is advantageous in certain situations because it's kind of like a source of fuel. So in times when food was low, you'd have extra fat there because the fat on your abdomen is mobilized more slowly because there's less blood flow, different fat receptor. I won't get into that. But basically you'd have like a continued source of release of fuel and nutrients. So the theory goes, as far as we know, since famine used to occur in India more frequently than anywhere else, and this was due to the fact that India had has a double monsoon, and crops are dependent on that, and it fails pretty often, there would be frequent food shortages, so periods of scarcity. So over the years, like epigenetically, we adapted as a population to, have a little bit extra fat on our body, specifically on the abdomen. And the reason for that is that we could survive. So it's only in the modern context we view it as kind of like a disadvantage because we've been influenced by, popular media of what a man like should look like when he's ripped, like, all the actors and stuff like that, like all the superhero ripped physiques, how to look like, or Wolverine or whatever. And that's kind of the image we have of how we should look. So like when we see like a South Asian with a little bit of extra fat on their abdomen, we're like, oh, like what the hell? Like this isn't the right thing this isn't right. I mean, that's like subjective, right? It's just we want a different ideal. We want the Western ideal. So we can't get the Western ideal because we're built a little bit differently. So to get there, you actually have to do things a little bit differently than someone who's more naturally predisposed to it. So if you have extra fat on your abdomen, you'll have to get leaner to get the same amount of like definition, on that part of your body. Most people stop too early, right? They stop there. You can call it like fat loss or cutting phase. And then they're like, oh, fuck, I still have a little bit of fat, but I'm just so skinny. I don't want to cut anymore. And it's like, no, you have to because you're different. And when you bulk, you're going to gain it back there faster. So you have to bulk a little more slowly, more carefully. And so I kind of like, first step is I figured out the problem from various reading of like authors, doctors who were talking about it, but not in a fitness context, more in the health context of like heart disease and diabetes. And then I realized, and I started digging into the research and found, oh, there's like evidence that no one talks about. And so I started like looking at that, and then I realized, oh, it needs a different approach. So then I set like hard targets in my program so that just people have different goals to achieve if they want to get the results they want, which are those, Western ideals of what a man should, how lean he should be and things like that.
Yeah. That's a whole like, sorry, I'm like,
no,
I'm like, there's so much there that I could just, cause I have so many anecdotes, like personal experiences that I start remembering. But first, okay, cause you opened a can of worms about the ideals. So you talk about like the Western body type ideal is like a 6-pack, broad shoulders, V taper for men, and whatever hourglass for women.
Yeah.
The first question is that healthier? So not just from a physical aesthetic standpoint, is it healthier?
After a certain point, no. Once you get under like 20% body fat, I would say maybe 17, 18, it doesn't matter. It's
for men or for women? Because body
for men.
For men.
For women, it would be like 27, 28, 25. Let's say 25. Yeah.
So are we making a mistake by chasing Western ideals of what body?
10 to 12%.
That's not for me to decide if it's a mistake, right? It's up for the person. It's like, it's okay to have a little bit of fat. Like, it's not a big deal. A lot of people actually prefer it. So I posted a picture. It was kind of controversial of a famous Indian actress, and I used her as an example of skinny fat in one of my videos. And people are like, what are you doing? Like, you can't use her. Like, she's, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I mean, but girls don't want to look like this. They want to be leaner, right? So it just depends. It's subjective. After you get to a healthy body fat, which is like, I would say again, under 20 for men, under 25 to 28 for women, it doesn't really matter from a health perspective. It's as long as you have enough muscle mass. If you're skinny and you have no muscle mass, then it might matter. But if you have enough muscle mass, because muscle will make you more insulin sensitive, meaning you'll handle blood sugar and stuff better, it doesn't matter. It's purely aesthetic. Yeah.
Right. The second part of that question, because you talked about for South Asians, they have to diet differently, right? They have to cut for a longer period of time to get to the 6-pack, to Western ideals. And then when they bulk, they have to bulk more slowly. I just remember... If they want to stay lean, if they want to stay lean, which I think most people do. I just remember when you said that, I remembered when I was 18 and I was 140 pounds. I was whatever is hard gainers. Is that what they call it now still?
Yeah, you could say
like
that.
Skinny guys. What do they call them? Hard gainers?
Yeah, they used to call them hard gainers, yes.
I would take
ectomorphs,
ectomorphs, I would take like a...
Mass gainer.
Yeah, mass gainer. It was like a 1,200 calorie protein shake. It was disgusting. I went from 140 because I kept consuming McDonald's. Like, when you're young, I don't know if it's media or research or online that was new at that time. They just say, eat whatever you want.
It's like a dirty bulk, is what they used to call it.
Yeah, just eat whatever you want, get massive. I got became like 200 pounds. My knees started to hurt.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't play basketball, and then end up over that period of time, Gurney was in his health, and that's when I met him. So then I end up cutting back down to like 150, 160. But does your program talk about like the hard gainers? Like people have a hard time putting on mass?
Like if they're not skinny fat, they're just skinny?
They're just like super skinny, like ectomorphs.
Not really.
Yeah, talk directly to me.
Yeah, you were just naturally skinny growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are a lot of Indians like that. Not the majority like at all, but for them I just say like, again, eat more protein containing foods like that you do eat. If you're vegetarian, a lot of paneer. If you eat eggs, eat eggs. Don't try to gain weight too fast because you will put on fat. Small surplus. Eat like until you're hungry, and then just eat a little bit beyond that at every meal, and then you will gain weight at a okay rate. You don't have to track your food, although it's better. And then if you eat meat, eat a ton of meat, eat more protein. Indian diet is deficient in protein. But yeah, skinny guys, they just need to eat more in general, lift hard, sleep more, and they'll gain mostly muscle. Like, it's actually better to be just skinny than skinny fat, in my opinion, because you don't have to go through all those struggles. All you have to do is put on mass and then maybe do a little bit of a fat loss phase and you're done. It's like, there's no like confusion. It's very straightforward. But skinny fat guys, pain in the ass. You got to be very careful. And
is there timings throughout the days where we should be eating?
Nah, it's
because there's so much going on, and we talk about fasting. We had keto. Like some keto stuff the other day. The whole meat, the whole vegetarian thing, and then the number of number of meals that we're consuming on a daily basis. Yeah. Some of that gets really hard to do.
The main benefit of fasting is not any health benefit. It's just appetite management. It helps you manage your appetite so you eat less. All the other benefits, largely overstated, like a cellular cleanup, things like that. Like it might help in like a niche cases where you have a specific condition, but for most people, it just helps them eat less or helps them eat enough, like to not gain fat. Timing wise, doesn't really matter unless you want to be like a professional bodybuilder. You can have all your food in one meal at the end of the day. Won't make a ton of difference as long as your protein needs are met. But if you want to like get everything out of your physique, yeah, it's better to eat like every 4 hours or something like that.
Also, why protein over carbs and fats?
Well, protein is the building blocks, is the building block of muscle. So it's just going to be more useful for that. Carbs are good too. Carbs are protein sparing. The more carbs you can eat, the less protein you can eat, but it's protein is the most important. But after a certain point, like maybe like 0.8 grams per pound of body weight or something, you don't really need more. Like we used to eat a gram per pound, right? Always trying to get exactly our body weight in protein. It's not really necessary.
Right.
Yeah. Like, again, there's so many like myths in the fitness industry, like 1 to 1.5 grams per pound of weight.
Yeah.
The other one was the anabolic window. Like you got to have a protein shake right after your workout.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense because no one's hungry right after their workout unless they're in like a severe deficit. So it's actually natural to listen to your body. And usually about an hour after your workout, you get hungry.
Right.
So like have your protein shake then. Nothing's going to happen if you don't have protein right away.
Right. So again, there's just so much like, I guess, myths in the fitness industry. Do you have some that you're like, that you can think of that you just don't like?
I mean, you guys covered the basic ones. You don't need to eat all the time. Like we're designed to survive. We're designed to be robust. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Protein timing is a big one. Doesn't matter if you have, your whatever right after.
How about this? How about working out, eating lots for skinny people, and then not doing any cardio?
So cardio, you could say, is good for heart health and general function. But if you're skinny and you're trying to gain weight and you're not gaining weight, it's better off not doing cardio because the more activity you do, you're going to burn more calories and you're not going to be able to gain weight. Doesn't matter what kind of activity it is. So you actually kind of want to like just do your workout, eat a lot, and then because if you do cardio, you'll have to make up for that by eating even more, which is hard. So just don't do cardio if you're trying to bulk. Other than for like general health, you can do a little bit here and there. But like if you have a real problem gaining weight, shouldn't be doing cardio.
And then how about the people that are losing weight? Because you went through that kind of phase of losing over 20 to 30 pounds. Your program, is it going to be easier to do than what is readily available? Or is there like a large adjustment in our lifestyles and food preparation?
So I try to make it as seamless as possible. Like the bigger the change, the harder it is for most people to maintain. Some people like a huge change and they can stick to it easier. But
there's actual mental fatigue sometimes. Like I've done these programs before, especially gaining weight. I've put on a lot of weight before.
Yeah.
But the mental fatigue of thinking about it and putting it together was the challenge for me.
Yeah, that's why you want to make the changes as small as possible. I try to make it so it's like as easily integrated into your life as possible, just so that life isn't about going to the gym. It's about what you do outside of it, right? It should be like an accessory, in my opinion, unless you're into the sport of fitness. But yeah, it's like you should try to find ways to make things work with the least amount of like upheaval as possible. So like work out at the time that like you're naturally not busy, keep eating the same foods you normally do, just alter them slightly to, suit your goal. If you want to lose fat, maybe eat less carbs and fat. If you want to gain muscle, eat more protein and more carbs. You don't have to make big changes to get results. The way my program is different is mostly I say keep eating your cultural foods. Usually people are pretty busy, South Asian people. They're either professionals, students, stuff like that. So I say you only need 3 workouts a week to pretty much maximize results. You don't need more than that. And then other than that, those are the 2 big ones. Just workouts. You don't need to go crazy and be in the gym every day, and you don't need to give up any of your favorite foods unless you like eating fried chicken every day or something like that. Pakode.
So this is actually another thing that I want to talk about: fried chicken and pakode.
Yeah.
South Asians, we got a lot of events, a lot of weddings. Like me and Rahul, we were just attending one this week. Yeah. How do we adjust for that? Because I know I got friends that are in the bodybuilding thing, and I did this, and I feel like I might have isolated myself socially by going to events, sticking to my meal plan, by not diverging from what the plan was. And I would feel it from the people around me. So how do I get myself back into it without losing friends and circles? That's a big thing in our community. We're going to be so strict, we're going to be strict. And then if we let go, we're going to let go.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. Weddings are easy because there's a variety of food. So just eat the food that's friendly to what usually people, by and large, people, when they ask for diet advice, it's fat loss advice, right? And how to not get fatter. So it's stick to the tikka, the paneer tikka, the chicken tikka. Stay away from the pakode and fried food. You can have 1 or 2 pieces. Stay away from all the carbs because they're soaked in fat. You can have plain rice with a little bit of meat or paneer curry or vegetable curry, but just stay away from anything that's a combination of carbs and fat, and you'll be okay. Yeah, sorry, deep fried is the worst, bro. You can have a few pieces of anything, and your day is messed up, just because it's so calorie dense. But as long as you stick to protein, chicken tikka, paneer tikka, stay away from fried foods in general, and just have plain carbs, meaning regular tandoori roti, regular rice, and not greasy biryanis and naan and stuff. You'll be okay. Just don't overeat. Dance a lot. Yeah, burn off those calories. Drinking is the main thing at Punjabi wedding or any Indian wedding that screws people up. So, don't have mixers, scotch and soda, stuff like that, and you'll be all right. Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because I'm just thinking about all the foods that I ate and all the stuff that you mentioned. None of them are on the list to actually keep me healthy. Yeah, I'm pakode, paneer, and
many people go down that path. What's the number one reason why people fail? The most common reason, I guess.
Why people fail their goals?
Goals to get in shape. Because every January, Bob, Joe, Rajinder, Sukhpal, whoever, just random names. They all set a goal of I'm going to have a 6-pack by summer. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. But we know so many people fail.
The reason they fail is because they just make the changes. They commit to too big of a change. So I'm going to work out every day for at 2 hours. I'm only going to eat this food. I'm going to cut out all carbs. I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. And it's you'll do that maybe for 1 day at most, and you'll be screw this. Whereas if they don't already have an exercise habit, going from 0 to 100 is a recipe for failure. Instead, the way I started working out after a 4-year hiatus when I was in my early 20s, not hiatus, but I didn't work out as much, was I just committed to doing one set for one set of exercise for one set. One exercise for one set, and then every week I would just add another set. And when I hit 3 sets, I'd add another exercise. And then slowly I built up my workout routine again that way, and then I never stopped. So slow, sustainable change. People just try to do too much all at once, and then they fail. Go for a walk around your block, right? Change your meal slightly so you eat a little bit less rice and a little bit more protein. And just those small changes, they start to add up, and you start to do them more and more, and then they become habits, and you don't think about them, right? You don't think about how to structure your meal. You just know how to do it, and you can maintain being lean. But yeah, you want to figure out changes that are small.
Yeah, I asked that question because one time I was talking to you about, you're just kind of venting about a client that you just told them to go work out for 5 minutes and then go home.
Yeah.
And they're go do 10 minutes today and go home. And then 50, and then pretty soon it's an hour long or whatever.
Yeah, don't not go to the gym because you don't have enough time to do your whole workout. Go there, do your first exercise, even if it's one set, and then go home. You'll still get some benefit. One set is enough to maintain strength or even build it if you're new. And then just do that every time you're busy or when you don't feel like going. Something's always better than nothing.
100%.
That's such a good building block. We always do way too much.
Yeah.
We always just try to okay, we want abs, and we're going to try doing it in 12 weeks.
1,000 sit-ups every day.
I think I'm
do it for 3 days and you stop.
For whatever reason that kind of works for me a little bit. Like it's
to go to the
for me, it's like I have to be all in or nothing. Like
you are the minority though. Most people won't like
go to that. Yeah.
Go to extremes.
Yeah. So I have I guess kind of a layup for you. I know a common excuse people use to not stick to their routine is I'm too busy. I don't have time. How has your experience maybe changed your perspective on that, or has it at all?
No one's too busy, man. Like again, like if it's just one set of exercise, like how could you be too busy for that?
Mm-hmm.
I've had people in the program who are like doctors in med school, like investment bankers, like stuff like that, and they all found time to do a little bit. If it's a few minutes a day, going for a small walk around the block, it's just enough to maintain. Maybe you won't progress, but at worst, what you can do is maintain. Like the wedding thing. At worst, for that day, you're just going to maintain what you've gotten so far. You don't want to regress. So there's strategies to help you maintain even on days you're too busy. It's always good to do something. Just break it down to the smallest thing that you can do.
Yeah. I want to touch on that. Are you focused more on motivating people to do what they're supposed to do, or do you just create the plan and hope for the best?
I try to do a little bit of both. Motivation ultimately comes from within. If you're like not going to follow through with it, no matter what I say, you're not going to do it. Like you need to have the willingness to like make some, sacrifices and changes. But I do provide like pointers, like messages in the program along the way. Like, hey, I noticed you missed your workout. It'll happen automatically when we find you missed workout. Like, just go to the gym today and do your only one set, or do it tomorrow. Like, does that sound good? And then hopefully, I hope people will just take that and use it to get back on track. But yeah, it's a bit of both.
You're never, from my experience, you're never hard on your clients at all?
Never.
Like, he's never, because I've missed workouts and I'll tell him about it, and he'll never call me like, dude, get on. He probably should sometimes. Maybe.
I'm hard on them in the fact that, like, hey, man, I'm having trouble going to the gym. I'm like, bro, stop going. Like, I'm not, like, if you don't want to go, you're going to fail eventually anyways.
Right.
All right? And I feel bad sometimes when I say that, but in times it's worked. Like, a client's come back to me, he's like, hey, yeah, I really had to just decide for myself to, like, this enough is enough. And then those have been my most successful, like, transformations.
Right.
I don't like treating adults like children and
right.
I'm not their parent.
Right.
They can figure it out for themselves.
How much of fitness is like psychology? Like, cause
it's like all psychology.
It's all, yeah.
Food is psychology. Working out is psychology. Like adhering to workout plan. The people who can, who know themselves the best are the ones who are able to find a solution. Yeah.
The day they make broccoli taste good, the psychology will change for all of it.
It does taste good. Now.
And that's all it takes.
And pakode.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Just kidding.
Doesn't it?
Just kidding. Do you get frustrated when you see people are unhealthy and like they don't want to do anything about it? Does that frustrate you?
I mean, yeah, I think everybody who's in fitness has those thoughts. You're at the grocery store, you look over at someone's like,
cart,
like whatever cart, and you're just like, why are you eating this kind of shit, right? Like it's like, and they have a family and you're like, you're feeding your kids this? But like, that's how I grew up. My mom didn't know. It's a lack of awareness, right? They're not like, it's just, they don't know.
Yeah.
Or if they do know, it's like they're too busy. They don't have the time. So you got to be kind of like sympathetic to that. But yeah, it does upset me. Like we were at, I'll use an example. We were at like the Nagar Kirtan the other day, and like seeing all these people like stuffing their faces full of like all this free food, pakode and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? You're just, like in my head, that was the thought. It's like you're all like already so out of shape, and you're like, this is a religious event. Like, I know you're supposed to be enjoying it. It's just once in a while, but like you can enjoy without overindulging, without being a glutton. Right. But like, especially for Punjabis, like it's in our blood just to eat nonstop.
Yeah. Especially the jalebi. We got a bowl or a small plate of jalebi.
Yeah.
I had a little piece. He's like, all right, give the rest back or throw it out.
Not give it back. I was just like, first of all, I was like, grab a small plate.
He's like, just ask him to put a small piece on there. Cause like, he knows. Like,
yeah, you just need to taste it.
Okay. So how do you become a leader in your environment where you can help people around you that maybe don't have the best health habits? Right. So like, I guess this would be a lot of your personal experience, like with your family. Do you ever like, I'd imagine you're rubbing off on them anyways, but like, do you try to help them at all or?
So as much as, I mean, you can be the person who's like berating your family and friends. It doesn't work that well. I've been there, it's kind of like you can't help yourself.
Feel like you're nitpicking.
Yeah. It's like, especially when you're growing up, but the best way is just to be the role model yourself. Once you start just making decisions and you start saying no to things and you're like adamant about them and you just don't budge, people naturally start to see, oh, this guy's actually getting in good shape, whatever, they'll just start to naturally kind of follow in line. Yeah, that would be the best way. You just got to make the change for yourself. People who want to also have those same benefits will naturally ask you questions and kind of follow in your footsteps. If you're in like in an Indian household, you just have to find ways that work for you. You know, having a little bit less rice and roti, having a little bit more dahi at every meal. Eventually your mom or whoever's making you food will kind of understand, and then they'll start kind of thinking, oh, maybe I should do that too. And then, you know, that's how you start to make like familial change. And then that one family does that, whole family gets healthier, your cousins start doing that. You know, it always starts with just yourself, personal responsibility.
And those, sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's just a quick follow-up, and then I'll let you in because I know I'm asking a lot of questions. In those environments, it's actually generally more common that the other people will influence the healthy person, right? So, like again,
you influenced me the other day, bro.
Did I? My bad. But if I go home, like my family's there, I got my cousins in town from New York, from wherever, and they're all having whatever drinks. They're having like
that's exactly what happened. We went to a concert. You're like, yo, let's have a drink, and I'm like, I don't want to. Like, but then I ended up having a couple of drinks. But it's all good. Like, so what was the question?
Yeah. So like usually in those environments, like people will.
How do you manage those?
Yeah.
Again, it depends on how, like, for example, for me, I have to stay in relatively good shape all the time because that's my business, my brand. If you're preparing for a competition, summer deadline, just like you're going to have to say no to things and you're going to have to sacrifice. But if you're kind of like just trying to stay healthy, or you have like a more leeway, more like extended timeline, you can just kind of, again, at worst, just maintain. Don't say no to everything. Say no to some things and just be like, today's like a maintenance day. Like, I won't get worse. I'm not going to get better though. Right. So like if you're having drinks, have 1 or 2 drinks. If you're eating like fries or like they order a bunch of nachos or something, have a couple, but like, you know, don't overindulge. Unless you want to, again, it's life, right? Once in a while, you just want to like not think about this kind of stuff. But if you have a goal, you have to make that sacrifice. And then once the goal is done, then, you know, you can enjoy it. So know that it's temporary. That's the main thing. Remind yourself this is just temporary.
Right. Why have I stagnated at 170?
At your body weight?
Coach me right now. Yeah. Why am I struggling for the last 10 pounds? It's so hard. Like, dude,
it's just routine. You're not in a routine.
Yeah. It's very different.
You're not like, you're not eating similar foods every day. You're busy. You're all over the place. You just kind of like got to commit and like have a very stable routine. Then it'll make it easier. It's hard to do things on the fly. It's fine. You can make some progress that way, but like the very end goal, like getting to that final, like from 15% body fat down to like 10, 12, like you just have to have everything locked down, like as little distractions and noise as possible. Yeah.
Everything in moderation. That's what I'm kind of
including moderation.
Yeah. And then how do you?
Good. I like that.
So
it's a comment.
That's subtle. Yeah. Did you pick up? I don't know if you picked up on it.
So how do you? Let's say we do fall off the wagon, right? How do we get back on track? Because those foods are actually really tasty.
Which foods? Like
all the good stuff.
Just again, start small, right?
I'm just trying to find a way how I can mix your program in with my lifestyle, because I go to a lot of events and sometimes I'm not the most consistent in timing for eating and then making the right choices, because whatever's in front of me, I'm just going to eat it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're that hungry, like that's actually a drawback to fasting. Sometimes people get so hungry that they'll just eat anything at night and they end up eating more than they would have if they just ate healthy food throughout the day. Small changes, man. It's just like do what you can and do it every single day. A little bit less carbs, a little bit more sabji every day. That's less calories. You'll lose fat. It'll be slower than if you went hardcore, but it's better to get results slowly than not at all.
So somebody like me, probably in a similar boat as Rahul, is it more important for me to cut my body fat and my weight first before I start bulking?
It depends on what you're comfortable with. You're like not, don't have too much body fat to start with. So it'd be like if you tried to gain muscle right now and tried to gain weight overall, you would put on some fat. If you're okay with that, yeah, go for it. If you're not, then yeah, you have to cut first.
Are you able to get me, or clients to bodybuilding or competition style preparations where they're at 4 or 5%?
No, because I don't have, first of all, experience with that. It was never my goal. I just wanted to kind of be in good shape so I can live the rest of my life better. So no, 4 to 5% is not only like hard to get to and unsustainable, but it's unhealthy. After about 10%, your like hormones get messed up. Your testosterone's low if you're a guy. If you're a woman, you'll lose your periods. Like it screws up your body. Like people aren't supposed to be that. That's like a starvation level body fat, right? It's supposed to be just temporarily. Most people don't want to get that lean anyways, right?
We think we do.
Yeah.
We think we do.
Some guys think they do because it's kind of like a body dysmorphia, again, from the ideals of like fitness magazines. But like you'll always feel like shit at that time. So yeah, don't recommend that. And I don't do that with my clients. We stop at around like 10 to 12 at most.
What's your biggest concern with South Asians when it comes down to, because you said that we carry a lot of weight around our midsection.
Yeah.
So obviously it's going to have some impact on our organs. Is the biggest concern for us heart health? Is it sugar? Is it blood pressure? I see these three things are the most common with us. I don't know if it was happening in India or if it started happening when we came to Canada. Like, what's your experience?
It's going to be
that?
probably diabetes. I think if you look at the statistics, so there's like an alarming statistic, like 1/4 of all adults under age 25 in India are diabetic. Like that's nuts. I
How
just
many?
learned about that. 25%. Jesus. Insane. Like how many people are diabetic in
I think
Canada,
25% of my family is.
But like how many Westerners are, right? Like maybe 1 in 20, 1 in 10. I don't know off the top of my head. But like it's crazy the amount of diabetics, and that's related to the body fat distribution and having less muscle. Because what happens is when your body gets those carbs and sugar, where do they get stored? It depends on how your metabolism, like how healthy you are. If you have a lot of body fat, it's going to mostly get stored as body fat. Your muscles aren't going to uptake as much glucose. If you have more muscle, they'll go more to your muscles. Since you have a centralized body fat distribution anyways, have more body fat, you're going to be insulin resistant, meaning your body's not going to take those carbs and put them in your muscle. They're automatically going to go to fat a little bit more than other ethnicities. So that's what you got to watch out for the most. Where the food you're eating is being stored, that depends on your insulin, which depends on your body composition. So blood sugar related stuff, diabetes is probably the most the highest concern, and then heart attacks, because we all have uncles. My dad's had a heart attack and twice almost. So that's probably the second concern, and then it's like PCOS for women. Thyroid problems are more related.
Thyroid is big.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there any other concerns you mentioned?
The one thing I'm thinking is, how do we reverse cardiac, like the blockages in our arteries? Would you know anything about that?
Reversing plaques is, I'm not a doctor, obviously. I've looked into it a little bit because I have familiar history. Apparently, like generally getting much healthier, losing body fat, increasing muscle can start to reverse heart disease, atherosclerosis. In terms of reversing like hard plaques, there are some supplements people say that might help, like nattokinase, which is like a enzyme that apparently can maybe break down plaque buildup, but it's like barely researched. And but yeah, it's interesting. It's naturally found in a certain type of bean. But yeah, you can just first of all lose fat, build muscle, have a healthy lifestyle, manage stress, sleep a lot. That will have the biggest impact, and then maybe take like a supplement that may help like clear plaque, like systemic enzymes. Yeah.
I wanna change topics to business and how you got started in that.
Sure.
So now we've covered a lot of the stuff with the health. Your business, you went to university. You guys were in sciences together. And then how long after your own fitness journey did you see you can make an impact in other people? Because there must have been a correlation of, I'm doing this, I'm seeing people around me struggling, and maybe I can help a couple people out.
Yeah, so I never planned on, making fitness the whole thing until like maybe 2013, 2014. I had consumed so much fitness content. At that time, it was mostly blogs that I was like, I naturally thought, oh, I should do this as well. And then I thought, what's going to be like my approach? Well, what makes me unique, right? I'm South Asian. I've had these particular struggles. A lot of people used to talk about skinny fat syndrome and stuff back then. But it wasn't specific to one ethnic group. And I had the realization, I'm like, oh, why is skinny fat, like the skinny fat body type, prevalent in South Asians more than anyone else? Like any population can have the skinny fat body type, but it's almost universal in South Asians. Why is that? Started doing research. Found some articles. There was one doctor, he wrote a book called The South Asian Health Solution. Again, it was more general health. His name's Ranesh Sinha, Dr. Ranesh Sinha. He talked about like possible causes hadn't been really researched at that point. This was 2013 or 14. And then I kind of started thinking, okay, I can approach a very specific group of people, my own people, and have a very unique approach for them that'll help them more. And that's kind of when I decided, okay, this is needed because I never had this kind of guidance, right? Why is it that I was always frustrated when I bulked and gained too much fat, and when I would cut, I would never be as I would never look how I wanted to, even though I'd lost so much weight. And then I realized, okay, there needs approach, and then I kind of started to formulate kind of like a plan in my head of the ways to get there. A lot of coaches, fitness coaches, non-South Asian, were very influential for me, and I kind of like took pieces from everyone and then added my own experiences and came up with like a unique program or approach, and that started. Yeah.
That's actually interesting. And then you're doing one-on-one, and then how did it transition into going online?
After you get to enough one-on-one clients, it's just like very repetitive, and it's like you realize you can only help a small amount of people at a time. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to like be able to impact more people, but also make it more accessible for them because it's affordable. Because one-on-one coaching is expensive, right? Even online, not to mention in the gym. Gym's like thousands of dollars per month sometimes, and online it's hundreds. I was like, I need to make it so like everybody can get access to the program for like the cost of a lunch or dinner. And so like I figured out a way to like with software and tools online to kind of like start to automate everything so that you get like most of the benefits of one-on-one coaching, but it's all like automatic. So like the workouts change regularly, your diet changes as you progress. And you have options to like switch between home equipment, like gym equipment, like anything that a coach would do, like most of it's there. Obviously you can't customize it completely, but like, and then I wanted to make it accessible. So then I lowered the price point.
Are you limited in any way to the demographic or the number of people you can take on right now?
No, not at all.
Okay. Yeah. That's like the more phenomenal and amazing thing that going online is probably done for you, right?
Yeah, that's, you know, like I didn't have social media for a long time. I didn't start it until I had the business. But like, yeah, the internet is awesome. Social media is awesome for growing a business. Like if you have a business, you should be on social media. It's like the best way to reach people, help people, make an impact. Yeah.
Are you on social media creating content just to build your audience base? And is that how you're getting most of your business, or is it through tools of marketing?
I don't do any. It's just organic reach. Like I think all of it. I like maybe ran an ad like a long time ago for a blog, but that was it. So yeah, it's all just like I try to educate them in the real, as much value as I can give. And then I'm like, if you want like actual plan that follows this, you know, you can go to my website or sign up.
What's your own personal goal for your health and body type right now?
I mean, summer's coming up, so yeah, get leaner. I've been traveling for the last like 6 months, so naturally I gained a little bit of weight. I did my best to kind of maintain. But yeah, get leaner for the summer. In the summer, I like to switch to all body weight training. So I'll just stay lean and do a lot of body weight stuff, improve at that. Like, again, I said, aesthetics isn't my main goal. I like skills. So like, I want to get better at calisthenics. So I'll do that for a few months. And then in the fall, I'll probably bulk up again just because it's naturally.
So something like that, like the calisthenics, do you start incorporating the stuff that you're doing into your plans as well? Or do you give options to people?
We do have like a home program and I incorporate some aspects of it, but like pure calisthenics, like gymnastics, movements, things like that, I don't give because most people, again, they don't care about the skill part. They just want to like look better. Yeah. Some people do ask for like, you know, body weight only programs and, you know, it depends how I'm feeling. Maybe I'll make one for them, but usually I just don't have the capacity to do that for every single person. But I was actually talking to like one of the guys who works with me today thinking, hey, maybe we'll create like a calisthenics program and some like alternate ones. And yeah, we were brainstorming, but no, not really. It's mostly just like traditional fitness approach, equipment wise and things like that.
Do you ever, like after people finish your program, do they start asking for like life advice too? Does that happen? Or is that just me?
With one-on-one clients, it would happen a lot.
Or is that just me?
No, with one-on-one clients, it would happen a lot. And it would naturally go into that because we'd have calls every week, right? Every other week. And so we start talking about stuff like that. We have a group chat that's pretty active. And people do say life stuff. And like the beauty of health and fitness is that once you start doing it, like it becomes like a self-development, you know, journey for a lot of people. And so naturally they talk about other things. But personally, for me, I do get advice like in Instagram and stuff, but like not through the
course,
not through the program as much.
Yeah, you're
health is very
member.
Health is very intimate, right? Like you know, when people share problems about their physical fitness, their diet, all this. It's a very intimate interaction. So like naturally the next step is like, hey, maybe this guy knows something that I don't know about this other stuff. My professional
people
life,
do ask me questions about like slightly related topics.
Yeah.
Like guys will ask me about like, how to like be more confident with, social situations, things like that. So
yeah.
But yeah, not as much as anymore.
Right.
It's more of a one-on-one thing.
Is that going to be your part 2?
Yeah. When did you become so wise, bro?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, one day I like called Gurney. I was like, yo, this guy's so wise. What happened?
I just reflect on your own experiences. Most people are more alike than different, and then try to help people go through the same things you went through. But is that my part 2? I've been thinking about doing something along those lines for a long time. Recorded some content and everything already. It's and it would be like just like a fun passion project, but haven't released anything yet. No.
And the reason why I ask is because I've only known you for a little bit of time, but when we start talking about values and we start talking about ourselves and our inner workings, and obviously we're raised in a certain way where our parents came here, didn't have much.
Yeah.
So they didn't have the education. They just gave us or taught us the way they knew best, which was maybe it wasn't the best. We got a couple of beatings. We got a couple of verbal lashings.
More than a couple, man.
Yeah.
I got beat every day.
Yeah. But now that you've created some sort of awareness, you're able to actually help other people, because it's, in a sense, I'm never going to say my past is going to determine how my future is. I actually say that it's made me better. And Rahul sometimes says, hey, I wonder, and it's always an alternate universe of, if we were raised a certain way, how would we have turned out? And I'm thinking, this is the best version is today. It's having that awareness. So you giving advice to a lot of the people that you're coaching and working with, I think that's like the part 2 is more important, because after your health and fitness is taken care of, we don't really know how to act and behave, especially with social media taking over.
Exactly. Especially as a coach, when you want to help people, you want to help them completely, right? You don't want them to just be like, you're in good shape, but you're the same,
same mentality of.
Yeah, exactly, as you were before. Yeah. So naturally I want to delve into that, but with this, like with South Asian Strong, I just want to like keep it to fitness and then have like a separate thing that I do that with, which again is getting set up. But it's it's like a natural evolution of fitness is like self-development.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is there any anything that we can do to encourage our friends and family members to push towards getting you business? Can we give some sort of like a code to people? I want to help you
need
as
an
well.
Unconventional code.
I could make an unconventional code.
If you can give us a code to get some of our viewers and listeners, and we can help their journey with their, like, especially South Asians. We don't know what we're doing. We're going one route with what Western media is telling us, and then our parents are telling us the other thing, and we can't really integrate both of them because they're two completely separate informational issues that we're trying to combat with, right?
Yeah.
So if you got a code, something,
go to link in my bio, transform.southasianstrong.com. Use code unconventional. I'll make it live after this.
Yeah,
and I'll give you guys like 25% off.
Ooh,
and lifetime for every month because it's a monthly thing. And yeah.
How much do your program start at? And do you have like a scale, or is it just one?
It depends where you are. I do it based on like market. So like for Canadians, I think it's like $40 roughly. And then for Americans, it's like in the USD, it's like 35. For Indians, I make it even cheaper because obviously less purchasing power. But I think it's like 2,000 rupees or something like that.
Yeah. This is amazing.
Very affordable.
Yeah.
This
is
less than our meal yesterday night at Milestones.
Of course.
Yeah,
and we're getting 1 month. And then
I actually asked a client from Mumbai. I was like, hey, what's like an average like a urbanite in India will spend on like a meal with friends, like a drink? He's like, yeah, like $30-$40, like Canadian. And so or US. So I like made it the same amount. I'm like, if you can spend that much on a like something that's an indulgence, like a fitness program that's gonna make your life better, should be around the same.
About $1 a day.
Yeah, about $1.
Awesome. The unconventional code.
Unconventional.
It'll be $1 a day exactly.
That's our gift to our audience.
This is a good gift, man. I like it.
Appreciate you doing that.
Of course.
Okay, cool. For I just want to touch on this. Rahul, what's your goal over the next couple of months leading into summer?
I got 10 more pounds to go, man.
You got to commit on air and then follow up.
Yeah, 10 more pounds, get my 6-pack, and then I'll start doing a clean bulk.
Yeah.
And put on hopefully 10 pounds of muscle.
Are you okay talking about your weight, your height, and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I want to be. I want to because
I could tell you about Actually, I'll tell you about my journey for it. After COVID, like I was very, very fit going into COVID, 170 pounds. And once COVID happens, you're sitting at home eating fast food all the time. I was eating Whataburger and like all these just fast food, whatever, burgers, garbage. And I reached out to Gurney. I was hesitant because I was like, I already know about fitness, right? So this is like my thought process, like purely. And
smart guys like us, we always know everything.
We're like, internet's there. Of course, I could just Google plans and follow bodybuilding.com workout routines. And so I was like, I don't know if it was ego, but maybe I was just hesitant because I'm like, the information's there. So then I was like, fine, I'll give your program a go. I called them and said, put me on your program. And I did it. And it started working. And the best part was I wasn't mentally grinding myself down. Because every other workout routine I've had is like workout every day, 45 minutes a day. And it's super cumbersome. You have to like remember everything. You have to remember all your nutrition. Like there's so much micromanaging that when I signed up for Gurneet's program, it was like I got a link in my email. It's a video. I watched the video. I barely watched the video, to be honest. I kind of more asked him, like, yo, I don't want to watch the video. Just tell me what I got to do. So I watched the video, guides me through the whole process. I get a workout plan right on my app, like the South Asian Strong app.
Yep.
So you download it from the App Store. Yep. So there's a whole workout plan for the next, I don't know, I've been on it for like 6 months, maybe longer now, maybe even a year.
Yeah, it was over a year of workouts. Yeah.
So a whole year worth of workouts already planned. It's only 3 workouts a week. So every other day. I got 2 days off in between. I can't remember which days those are, but so it's like, and then there's cardio, and the cardio is even planned on there. So all I had is start workout, track everything on my smartphone. So no more carrying Apple Watch, smartphone. No more carrying around books. So I have to carry around a book where I write down how many sets. It's all, dude, it was insane.
Okay, this is actually good because
and then I don't know if your app has like a nutrition counter, but
it does. Yeah, you can track food in there if you want.
But then I think I had MyFitnessPal because it has auto log, so I would track my nutrition on MyFitnessPal. And then to answer your question about the specifics, I'm 6 feet right around. Went from 195, 97 pounds to now I'm like 170. And then I'm actually strong. I'm stronger than I was back then too.
Should have brought up pictures.
Honestly, I should have. My legs got stronger. So one of my weak points with my workout routine was like I deprioritized my leg routine.
It's like every
brown person,
in
every Surrey Jack,
especially every Surrey
so
Jack.
I didn't have much of a booty. I have like a tiny little booty now. I didn't have hamstrings or quads. It's like now I have some muscle there.
Yeah.
And then so I'm actually more balanced. My legs are stronger. My cardio is better. I can run. Dude, it's insane. Like it's all around. Like
it's not a bodybuilding program. It's like a fitness, as in like being
functionality.
Fit,
it seems like you're functional now.
Yeah, and I didn't have to like starve. I didn't have to go keto and fall off. I didn't have to do intermittent fasting.
And you eat what you want to eat when
I go out and drink with you guys, or not you. I go drink with you.
Sober guy.
I go eat pakode with you. It doesn't. I eat jalebi with you. It doesn't matter. Like I eat what I want to eat, and then it just takes the thinking out of it. Like it's all programmed. I click a couple buttons, log my workout, and focus on my life. And that was the best part about it.
The way it should be, right? The less headache it is, the more likely you'll just becomes brainless.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's the best.
Is your program more geared towards 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? I know with working out and health and fitness, it's a journey.
So it's actually customized because if we customize it a lot more than people think. If you're a complete beginner, we don't start with, and you have not high body fat, we don't start with like a fat loss phase. We'll put you on like more of a recomp where you're like gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time because you can do that as a beginner. So the system will automatically calculate that. It'll give you the calories for that. You'll do that until those gains are exhausted, and then you're not a beginner anymore. And then we'll do a fat loss phase because now you have some muscle, and then it'll be a fat loss. But if you're doing fat loss, it could be 3 months if you don't have too much fat to lose. It could be 6, it could be 9. I had a client lose 50 pounds in 9 months. I had clients who did like 20 pounds in 3 months. They both got to the same endpoint.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this right now just for accountability, just because then
now you're on camera.
Now people can actually call me out. I'll jump on your program because I like what you're saying, and I actually need a coach because I need a little bit of accountability.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, 6'2". I'm about 182 to 185 depending on the time of day, and my personal goal is to hit 200 pounds. I've always wanted to be something to do something. That's all I know. So my goal is 200 pounds, and like I'm gonna.
So you want to build muscle? So
yeah.
Yeah, and you're how much? 185?
I'm about 182, 180. 183 to 185. Like it fluctuates like a couple pounds, but 183 is like most consistent.
Okay, so that's like 16 pounds, let's say roughly.
Yeah.
That if you want to not gain extra fat, it's going to take you about 8 months. Like not gain too much extra fat.
Yeah.
That's how a proper like clean bulk is done. If you have training experience, if you have none, you can bulk a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Like gain mass a little bit faster. Or you're okay with gaining body fat, then you can gain faster as well.
Okay.
It really depends on you.
And then how much would I be eating? Because the most I've ever done, I got between 3,800 and 4,200 calories a day, where I was eating like 6 times a day just to put on weight. And
I wouldn't know off the top of my head. You'd have to do the calculations, but that's too high. It would be like at most like low 3,000s, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's without getting into the weeds, that's around there. I would say you shouldn't need to, around your height and weight, you shouldn't need to eat more than like 3,500 max.
Can I still get abs by the time I hit 200 pounds? Or do I have to?
You'd have to do a proper fat loss phase. There's no way. Yeah.
Okay.
Only if you're a complete beginner.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with the newbie gains.
Yeah, and you didn't have the typical South Asian body type.
Yeah.
If you're skinny fat, it won't happen. You'll need to do a fat loss phase. But if you're naturally skinny, you can get abs.
Hey Dan, you want to get in on this?
He's already married. He's already married. He doesn't need to.
No, that's more important. You know what? It's more important for married guys to get healthier and more shape.
It is more important. Yeah.
No, just because we didn't talk about the married and the couples. And
I bet you Dan right now, if he took his shirt off, would probably look better than I do. I've been on this program, but
Dan is a
naturally skinny.
Yeah, you know what?
I got the skinny fat genetics.
Dan's actually a pretty fit guy.
Yeah.
He's like always hunting and hiking, and he's out in the wilderness.
Got the work boots on, man.
That's how you know.
That's
That's a telltale sign. I think we're
good.
Yeah.
So we should
Sounds
bring you
good.
back on just to actually discuss this. That's
6 months when you
6
guys
months.
hit your goals.
6 months. Should we do 3 months or 6 months?
Let's go 6.
So we can do both.
We should do 3 months just to see
Every
how,
3 months you can do a fitness check-in.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. And the next
And
one,
we'll review it, like what's going on.
we'll do it in the gym. We'll do a workout
We'll do it in the
Perfect.
gym.
Let's
in
do
3
that.
months.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right,
Sounds good. Should I do a quick little outro here?
wrap it up, man.
Yeah.
Bring it home.
This camera here. Yep. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Unconventional. Thank you, Gurneet, for being on the podcast. Guys, Unconventional discount code, promo code for SouthAsianStrong.com.
Yep.
You get 25% off your purchase. So if you're interested, go and check that out. Great program. Been on it. Lost close to 30 pounds over the last whatever year it's been. So
It's gonna come to less than $1 a day,
less than $1 a day.
Yeah, with the discount for sure.
and you got access.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge.
Of course,
I'm so
of
happy to
course.
have you
Great
on
to be
our
here.
show. My boy Gurneet. Check it out, guys. Peace.
See you later. Thanks for having me.
That was a bit. The piece. Where did that come
Okay.
from?
That's fine.